With the eviction in Hendon the other week, it seemed to be that the guys were given the opportunity to leave by giving them a free airplane ticket or be handed a bit of paper saying come back in 30 days' time. There didn't seem to be any idea of whether they were going to track these guys or just hope for the best.
Now, this is the eviction at what was the Hendon Football Club last week, an operation by Barnet Council, by the police and by the UK Border Agency. Some 68 people have been living there, some of them for up to 2 years. They were offered a return flight back to Romania if they went that day or the next day. Otherwise, they had to give their name and address, which, of course, is likely, as Paul was saying, to be false. And they've got 30 days to lodge an appeal.
Well, Paul, you're on to... this is a chronic problem. And if you look at what's happened in this country over the last 20 years, we have continuously failed to evict anybody. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. If you look at the number of people who are staying here illegally, and you measure that against the number that are meant to be on planes, it's absolutely vanishingly small. We find it incredibly difficult because the culture of human rights, the immense power of the ambulance chasing lawyers who immediately come in and offer people protection against eviction, who insert all sorts of delays into the procedure. It is blindingly difficult to get people onto planes. I haven't studied the details of the case in Hendon. But
I think of the 68, 5 availed themselves of an opportunity to leave the country. The others are now presumably one.
Well, they melt away into the maquis, into the undergrowth, and they're lost again. And it's one of the reasons people completely lost confidence in the whole immigration system. What's happened since the election? And we've got to be fair play to Theresa May.
Yep.
She has really come in there and tried to get a grip on it and to reduce the numbers. What you really need to do, though, is to make it clear to illegals that they cannot...
But these aren't necessarily illegal, of course, some of them. Some of them are here legal. Sorry, Paul, you want to come back in?
Yeah.
Well, then why are we kicking them out? Sorry, I'm not quite clear why we're kicking them out then.
That's right. Some of them are illegal. And it's like, the ones that are illegal, they're just letting them be wandered off and be given a bit of paper. And it was a case of, well, if they turn up, they turn up, and it's like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, just take them into custody and then get rid of them.
Sorry, I'm not quite clear what law they're breaking.
Well, if they're here illegally, of course they break.
Yeah, sure. But if they're here legally, then why are we keeping them out?
Some of them are working what's known as the black market, and they're not necessarily paying. There are sort of work restrictions as well. I thought, where do you stand on the idea of an amnesty for all immigrants to this country?
Well, there's a very clear decision, and this was something that came up, if you remember, in 2010, when every single party leader can, turn their machine guns on me, and I was accused of being completely wrong. But actually, if you look at what we've got at the moment, we effectively have it. If you've been here for more than 10, 12 years, I'm afraid the authorities no longer really pursue you. They give up.
So should we have that amnesty?
Well, why not be honest about what is going on?
So have an amnesty?
Absolutely. For people who haven't been here as long as that.
But for everyone else?
People, yeah, exactly.
10 years?
I think the cut-off I've said is 12 years.
12.
And because you've got people who are living here.
They got in here illegally, and they get rewarded by citizenship.
Ultimately, I'm afraid you've got to reflect reality, because at the moment, otherwise, and to get back to our caller's point, they are not engaged in the economy. They're not being honest with the system. They're not paying their taxes properly, and it's completely crazy. But the key thing is to kick them out, get them before they hit first base. Stop them coming in such numbers. Be much, much tougher in your general approach to borders.